Hello gamers, welcome back to the games, and hello citizens new to the channel. We are going to talk about something very interesting. At least I think it's interesting, and the two people on our panel today think it's very interesting. First time for us to actually have other thoughts and opinions on the show, Citizen Speak, one of my favorite because you get to actually discuss what is important to you in the game. People don't do that. I don't see videos out there like that. And you know what? Today we're going to be talking about NPC crew. It's really important, especially if you're somebody who's really put a lot of money backing into this game. You spent, I don't know, $1,000 and you bought a large ship. What are you going to do if you don't have any friends? You got a big ship and no friends. What are you going to do? Well, that's what RSI has proposed. SIG has proposed that, hey, don't worry about it. No matter the size of the ship, we're going to give you NPC crew that you can buy or rent or however you want to do. And you guys are going to have basically dummies that will walk around and you're like, no, don't touch that. No, don't do that. No, I don't know. We don't know how they're going to operate yet. And that's why we're having this episode. So anybody that has any information, please put it down in the comments below. That's why these videos are really important. And let's welcome today on our panels who have been patiently waiting in the wings. And you know what? God bless them. To my left is the Cray Ray.
How much is this bloody shit gonna be freaking cost me?
Thank you, Ray. And to the right, we have Kev, Bobev, Banana, and Fofev.
Yeah, that's some retarded shit.
Yeah, but thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the into the panel.
What I want to know is, how are you going to pilot that big bastard by yourself?
What are the instrumentations in larger ships going to? How detailed will the instrumentations in these larger ships be? What will their purposes be? And are the NPC crew going to be capable of actually manning these subsystems within the ship efficiently enough for them to be a viable option? I mean, you're buying a very, very large ship for a very big price pre-initial release.
I'm paying for a pixel.
Paying for pixels. You're paying a lot of money for those pixels, and that's like, if you think about that, would you want to jeopardize that investment with NPC crew?
It's a damn good question. And again, here's another question to ask. The NPCs, you know, supposedly we have to go to some place to hire them. Some of them are supposed to have reputations. Some of them don't.
Well, I mean, the other question too is like, after the initial investment of the ship, you got to think about the cost of the crew. You know,
exactly.
like, and I mean that's the thing. Do you want to actually man this with AI?
I don't think so.
Or do you want to actually have people? I don't think so either. Like, if I have a larger ship, like we were talking earlier, we were talking about like old school, like wing commander, you're in the briefing room and there's all those people there. I don't want to feel like these people that are in the room with me aren't really human. I feel like that's a disconnect. Don't you feel like that's a disconnect?
I mean, how many friends can you get on? Here's another thing.
I mean, but like those ships though, like, you know, Ray, I mean, like those ships are stating, like the Bengal carrier was like what, 100 people?
Over. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, like, so obviously in a situation like that, you're not going to have 100 people, or maybe you will. I mean, like, it really depends. But like, could you trust 100 people? Like, I mean, think about the amount of detail it's going to take to lock a ship down so that nobody can F with your shit. I mean, like you got a large carrier, it could be completely sabotaged by somebody if they're not legitly on your side. You got 100 people. Are you going to be able to trust 100 people? Hell no. I've played Eve before. Kev, you played Eve, right?
For a couple of years, yeah.
Okay, what was the biggest problem in Eve in your mind?
The biggest problem I had with Eve was the trading system. People would mark shit up so damn ridiculous. But that was my problem. Yeah. Not to mention all the other stuff out there that's wrong with that damn game.
Well, I'll tell you what. One of my big problems in Eve was actually like, and I was like a leader type, so like I would bring in people and create a corporation and the alliances and all the day. But the problem that I found was that there was a lot of people that actually were like just faking to be with you that were with other corporations.
Well, of course. Yeah,
they weren't.
Yeah.
Like espionage was huge.
You always had those kind of people that were just
spies.
There.
Yeah, and it was so rampant in Eve. It was just like a disease, man. You know, right? I mean, it's Eve. It's rampant in Eve, and it's going to be rampant in Star Citizen.
Absolutely.
Don't fool yourself. It'll be rampant in Star Citizen the same.
Ships, for example, just to take this out of the equation.
I don't trust people now. I don't know what's better now. Now I'm kind of going back to NPC crew. Maybe I don't want like human crew now. Like I maybe only going to put like the most trusted people, and then like I'll hire everything else NPC.
I just hope that whole thing from Eve doesn't fall down to Star Citizen.
But
keep that bullshit on.
Oh, it will though, Kev. It will. No. It will. I tell you what,
No,
the
you're right.
people
It's
are
going to
people. People are, and it'll infect Star Citizen the same way it infected Eve. But like that's my question is like, when you buy a ship like this, who are you going to trust? Like, are you going to just make like a core? Here's what I would do. I would take like a core group of people that's like no more than probably 10. You know what I mean? Put them in a larger type of ship. I don't know if I trust like having even like more than 10 or 20 people in a larger ship, like in a Bengal carrier that holds that many people that are human.
Just think of the logistics.
Right. You would need for larger ships though, for like a Bengal carrier, you would need the amount of pilots it would take to. I don't want NPC pilots in there. My God, they're just going to pick. I don't even think it's planned to be that way. I don't even think you can put NPCs inside like a Hornet and have that thing flying out. Well, yeah, you could, because if you think about it,
Here's another question for those who
so many questions, so many questions.
More than one ship. So you have 2 ships, for example. Just some of us do own 2 ships or more. Let's get the facts. Some of us don't own a ship. Right. That's fine.
There's a lot of people that own multiple ships.
There's a lot of people out there that own motors. We want to hear from you.
Sure.
You have the ship you're going to go fly out with. That's your favorite or not favorite. You know you're going to be using that one day. What's going to happen to your other ship? What are you doing with it? Is it going to be stored in a garage? Well, we class them as garages right now, but you know what I mean here. What are you going to hire an NPC? Are you going to have
Ray? I believe the word you were looking for is a hangar.
A hangar. There you go.
But garage is cool because that's totally British, and
yeah.
I could never.
I thought that was an American thing.
I totally. Right.
Here's the thing.
And that garagey.
The whole thing comes up again. How much is this NPC? If I hire an NPC, how much is it going to cost? How good is he going to be? What can he do on my ship? What can't he do? Then you've got.
Absolutely.
Back to NPC. Good point.
I've got a friend online. Can he come? How does he get the ship? If it's like across the bleeding solar system?
So many questions. See, this is what I get worried about with Star Citizen. The scope is so large of Star Citizen. Now, I'm a huge supporter. I love the game. Everybody watches the games knows that I am. But I do have these fears, guys. I have these fears that, like, because the game is so large in scope, you have a lot of technical issues to get over. You have a lot of hurdles. Like when you own a larger ship, you got to deal with NPC crew. Are they going to be efficient to man the ship? How much extra money is it going to be? You're dealing with a whole bunch of extra money.
Well, most people know about the single-seater ships. You can check out the gamers' videos of the single-seaters. Then you've got the double-seaters. You've got the Hornet. The Hornet's a double-seater.
Right. I'm fine with those. I'm fine with those all the way up to, because I know I can find like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 friends.
Then you got up again. Then you've got Freelancer, Cutlass, Constellation size. Okay, let's just do those for example. They're like 4 to 5 person crews.
I still feel comfortable with that because like I could feel like if I'm in, like I've flown in the game, I've flown in game in a Constellation thanks to Ray. It was Ray's Constellation.
Thank you, Ray.
And you know. Thank you. And I've flown in them with only one person in there. I felt comfortable. I was like, you know what? I'm cool with just one person in the Constellation. Now, getting back to NPC crew though, like, would you feel as comfortable like just having 1 or 2 NPC crews in the Constellation? You know, I don't know if I would. Like, how efficiently are they going to gun?
Yes.
I feel like they should have their own stats. Like, I feel like the NPC should have actually their own stats, and that as time and see, this is where I see a huge conflict of interest. Like, they said there's going to be no skilling, and that's in terms of us, the humans.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Well, that's fine. I'm actually for that. I think that's great. I don't want a number over my head. I don't want to grind. I don't want this to be like, wow.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be like, wow. Okay, so like I'm cool with that. Like I want to be known for my own thing, and you know, like it's just like real life. That's great, and the notoriety of your own name, blah blah blah. Yep. But what I don't like is this: is like, okay, so you get the NPC crew, you got the 1 or 2 in the Constellation, you got the 10 or 20 in your Bengal carrier, whatever. It doesn't matter. What does matter is this: is like how efficient they're going to be, and what makes them more efficient. I mean, like, what if it's just like you buy something for like a couple thousand credits in the game, and then they just literally just like fucking can't shoot anything out of the sky? Is there skilling involved with the NPC? Because there should be, like, right, like when they say no skilling, I believe they're referring to like us. But like, what about the NPCs? Shouldn't the skilling be?
If you have any links or any information out there, gamers,
yeah.
See,
let us know if there's any type of skill system. Or
you don't hear this, and that's what I'm saying. You don't hear. Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
If they did a skilling type system, it would be cool if they made the NPCs tied to whatever the commanding ship is. Say like you were commanding the ship. If they had a skilling type system and you
had
NPCs on board or whatever, and they tied those NPCs to that person's. You see what I'm saying?
I heard there's some sort of system they're having, but it's not going to be like the game you said earlier, or you said it's not going to be like you have to grind the levels out of them. I know
because that's just going to make the game.
If anybody has that information of what the NPC kind of skill system is, or knows about, or what it is, what they're planning, let us know.
Put that down below. Yeah, I mean, like I've looked over some of the information briefly, and there's a lot of comments on Reddit and a lot of comments on the RSI site where people are really concerned about just the introduction of NPC in general, just like not wanting to have like NPC at all, which is something else I think we should talk about. Is like, if people are going to go completely against NPC, then you could have NPC flying the ships, doing their own things for trade routes and manufacturing plants and the whole thing. I get it. I understand what Chris Roberts wants to do when it comes to that. He wants the economy to be supported because he doesn't know how many people are going to enter the game. So he's going to have some of the AI making the trips because this is actually physical, tangible goods and they need to be shipped. And if people aren't doing that in game, that's going to lead to false values on items. I get it.
Absolutely.
But one of the things that isn't mentioned a lot is when you're talking about NPC crew, and that's the discussion I see on the sites, on the forums, is people saying like, I don't want NPC crew at all. I don't. And then I go back to like what we talked about initially, which was like, if okay, let's say there's no NPC crew. Let's say that SIG listens to the people that are having those concerns. Well, then what are you going to do when you have larger ships like the Bengal? Like, there's no way that you're going to be able to have 100 people. And if you do, let's just say you do.
Here's a note for everyone out there. There's a bigger ship out there, bigger than the Bengal. That takes
more than the Bengal? Jesus.
It's larger.
Which one is that one?
I don't even know what it's named, but it's like 4 times the size.
It's ridiculous. That's amazeballs.
I think it's called... I could be getting the name wrong here, but I called it the Dreadnought. And it's just...
Oh, well, that just sounds vicious. That sounds like something I want to own. That sounds great.
I know there's a picture of it somewhere, gamers.
Can I put a large skull, like Jolly Roger on top of that? I want to.
In the UAE. I don't know what it's called, gamers, let us know. But imagine...
I want to paint it black.
Imagine that thing. It's supposed to be 4 times
no,
the size.
Well, but still, it doesn't even matter size. And well, that's what she said. No, that's not what she said. She probably did care about that. But I will say this: that in terms of NPC crew and ships, it doesn't really matter. When you're talking about like, do we want the NPC crew or do we not want the NPC crew? And if you do want the NPC crew, okay, great. Then we talk about our previous discussion, which was like, how efficient are they going to be? Is there going to be skilling? Blah, blah, blah. But if you talk about like, there's no NPC crew, then what you're going to say is like, how are you going to man these ships? Like, do you really think you're going to find 100 people? And let's say if we do find 100, or if the 400 in the Dreadnought, doesn't matter the number. Let's say we man these ships to like even half capacity, right? Which would probably make them flyable still.
Yeah.
I think that you could probably, sort of, like, who knows what's not going to be able to be used. But like, if you say you do man these to half or full capacity, then like, how can you trust that many people in your ship? There has to be so many safeguards in the ship.
Emphasize the word here, trust. Do you trust this?
Trust,
these 100 people?
Yeah.
You may do.
Back to the trust.
You may know every single one of them. They may be your best friends. But that's your own prerogative. I'm just thinking to myself, if I had 100 friends, do I trust every single one of them not to nick the ship underneath me, or not to cause sabotage, or do they work for somebody else?
Right, and what are they going to do to my ship that I just spent $1,000 on? You know what I mean?
Questions after questions arise about spies and espionage, which is a whole...
Oh my God! I remember there was a big article. Well, there used to be articles that I used to read on Eve, and Kev probably remembers this. Is like one of the ships that they had bought was like like equivalent to a couple $1,000s, right? And the guy loaded it up with BPOs, which in Eve BPOs create. Yeah, they create actual like tangible items that cost money.
Absolutely.
And in Eve, the it was called Plex, and the Plex related to a certain amount of Plex per dollar because people had to pay subscription fees, and the way that Eve implemented them paying it was to buy what were called Plex cards in game, and people used to just become Plex card dealers. And they would just literally live off the fact that people would buy these cards online and then use them. It still is, right. Which was, I thought, really a very bad move that kind of destroyed.
Well, between that and, like you were saying, with the other problem, and the market, the public market being marked up so high, that's why I don't play it anymore.
Yeah, and it was so very manipulated by people who were trading. And I have to admit, I'm sorry I did that. I did a lot of that in the game. I was one of those guys.
Oh God, I just thought of this one. How about this for
what?
NPC crew? Yes, we all know about NPC crews, or don't know about NPC crew. But that's the spaceship side. What about your hangar side? There's a whole nother caboodle. There's extra logistics right off.
Oh, true. What, you mean like as far as like working the ship and repairing the ship?
You got the whole ground crew here.
I think that might be an automatic thing though. Like I was reading something, and I don't know how legit it is. It was fan based blog, but they were talking about basically when you landed on planet, whether it be like, I'm looking forward to 2.4. Ray was just telling me that there might be like planetary landing on Nyx, which I think would be fantastic.
Yet, but there's rumors. No confirmation yet, gamers. We know 2.4 is going to be big.
I can't wait for 2.4. But I'm really curious though if in fact you will need like landing crew. And again, will that be NPC, or is that going to be like an automatic thing? So again, I think this is really relevant discussion. I think we're doing a good job staying on task and focusing on NPC in general. I think it's probably the best discussion about NPC out there on YouTube, anywhere really. I don't see people doing these videos. I like the fact that I've got these two here discussing with me. Thank you for being here, Ray. Appreciate your time, man. It's awesome. And Kevin, thank you so much.
God damn it.
Oh, and he's still here, and I love it. And I love that Ray spent his time in.
For you right now.
Oh my goodness! Over the pond, as it were.
All night, gamers.
Over the pond.
All night.
Hey,
Sucker.
but you know what? And Kevin, thank you for being a newer player to Star Citizen. Thank you for. I thought it was really cool because I got, like we cover the whole range. Like Ray's been here the longest. I'm kind of in the middle, and Kevin's been here the shortest. And we all love the game, and we all share passion for it. And you know what? Careful.
That's what she said.
And we'll end it there, gamers. Thank you for joining us, gamers. We hope you appreciate this, basically this discussion that we've had on NPC. Any information, as Ray has said before, please put down below. I think this is really good about Citizen Speak. And again, I know Sandy actually watches these, so it's probably Chris is watching these. It's great. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We'll probably have another episode out shortly. And stay tuned for more amazing Star Citizen content. Please be a patron on our Patreon page and help support the games and make us even bigger and better. And don't forget about our Cray giveaway this month, which is just 1K. 1K games and prizes. Why are you not even here?
More games.
All right.